Hey, everybody, this is Jason along with my co-host Rich, and we're in Victory Brand Studios. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the shooting that occurred in Tennessee. Stick around.
It's not always fun and games for first responders.
05 Central, you show me in pursuit.
But sometimes it is.
Oh my God, he's not wearing pants again.
Sometimes it's dangerous.
Flipping around, look out, look out, look out.
Sometimes it's not.
Antler Boulevard for a snake in a house.
And sometimes it's just plain stupid.
Chihuahua in his lap on a lawnmower.
This is the stupid side of first response.
Dispatch, do I really have to go to that?
This is Code 0.5.
Come in 0.5.
All right, everybody, like I was saying, we're going to do something a little different. This one, we're going to be a little serious, I guess. I'm sure everybody's heard about it. The person that went into a private school, Christian school.
Christian school, yeah.
And this person, I guess, was, when they were younger, used to be a student at this school. And I'm not going to mention their name because the things we're going to talk about in this episode, I really don't want anyone to remember this person's name. They're scum of the earth. Nobody should ever remember them. The ones that should be remembered are the victims, the school, and everyone in that community. But one of the things that we will talk about is that this person, I was confused for the longest what it was, but it is a she that I guess decided that they wanted to be a he, so would dress like a guy, but it's, you know, when it boils down to it, it's a female. But what we'll talk about is basically, well, here, I'm just going to start with the timeline of it, of when it started. I watched some of the, like the clips that you can get from the security footage at the school. And at 9:54, this person arrives on campus. You can see them pulling in with their little, it's a Honda Fit. It's like it's not really an SUV, but it's a car. It's like a crossover or whatever.
Yeah, little hatchback looking thing.
So it shows them pull into the parking lot at 9:54. And at 10:10 is when everything started, whenever, you know, the shooting started and all of that. So this person was in the parking lot, I guess, from the time they pulled in until they got out of their vehicle and walked up to the building for 16 minutes. Okay. So at 10:10, the first shot rang out. Okay. And people are wondering, you know, this, you know, it's at a school. Schools are supposed to be secure. And, you know, this school was secured as best they could. Mm-hmm. And I didn't find this out till I got to reading. She gained entry through a window that she shot out.
Yeah, it was glass doors.
So at 10:10, the first shot came out and it went through glass and it struck an individual by the name of Michael Hill. And Michael had been, I can't remember how long he's been working for the school, but his daughter was quoted as to saying that he absolutely loved his job. He loved everything about it, seeing the kids, and just had fun with his job. Mm-hmm. Michael was a father of 8. So he, you know, he left behind, you know, a wife and 8 children. Then at 10:18, and I'm not real sure 100% on when 911 was actually called. Mm-hmm. I've read 3 or 4 different articles as to when the call came in. Some say it was 10:13, some say it was 10:14. Mm-hmm. So after he was shot, it was just a couple minutes later that phone calls started coming in. But at 10:18, this killer can be seen walking through the hallways of the school. Mm-hmm. I guess they lose her on camera, and then at 10:20, they pick her up again, walking down another hallway of the school. I don't know if it was during this time then or if it was after this that the other victims were shot. But at 10:21 was when the officers arrived on scene.
Mm-hmm.
So if they got a call at 10:13, 10:14, it took them 7 to 8 minutes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they were coming from.
That's a big city, though, too.
Yeah. So the time is not a factor in this. They didn't mess around. So at 10:21, officers had arrived on scene. One of the first officers on scene was Officer Rex Engelbert. And when he gets there, there's people that are coming out of the school, and he does, from what I've read, everything that I've been trained to do. Mm-hmm. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. Because he gets there, gets out of his unit, sees people running out, and adults come up to him. He stops some of them and he asks them questions. So, when you get there, you're going to ask them, where's the shooter at? Mm-hmm. Then you ask them, who is it? Do they know who they are? Mm-hmm. What do they look like? What are they wearing? Mm-hmm. And then you'll follow it up with, where are they at? Because they, sometimes when you ask them, where's the shooter? They're like, oh, I'm not sure, and blah, blah. And then they'll just start telling you he's doing this, this, and that. And then you're like, okay, what does he look like? Or she look like? You'll get it down because you got to know who you're going after, because you don't know what's going to happen. He could shoot these people, throw guns away, and then act like he's a victim.
Yeah, that's one of the big things you got to look out, because you got a flood of people coming to you. You don't know if one of them's them. Yeah. They could be like mixed in and all that and just ready to lay everybody down out there.
And they could, they could already be gone. So, and then you finish it up with, where are they at? Well, while he's talking to this adult that had come out, he was told that the kids were on lockdown and that they were hidden in like rooms out of sight. While he's getting all this information, he's getting stuff out of his unit. He gets his rifle out. He's getting everything out. So he's going to work. After they get done giving that spill, he's able to get a set of keys from someone there, and they told him this is to a side entrance. As soon as he gets those keys, he's quoted as saying, "Let's go. I need 3." So him, and on the videos I've watched, I don't know if it's him and 3 other people, or if it's him and 2 other people. They go in. And at some point during the video, you can't hear anything. Well, and you know how it is when you go in an active shooter situation, when you can't hear the firing, you don't know where to go to. So then you slow back down and you start clearing rooms as you get to them. When you hear the shot ring out, then you advance and go to where it's at.
Wherever the shot's at.
So they slow down and they're checking. Well, then shots are ringing out again, and they're able to figure out that they're upstairs. So they sprint, get upstairs. There's no shots. They're listening. Then the shots start ringing out again. They go and run. And you can hear them whenever the shots are ringing out, and during those lull times when it's not happening, they're talking and communicating with each other. This room's clear. We've checked this. Then they'll hear it, and they're like, go, go, go. So at 10:21, he gets on scene. Whoever's there with him, he just grabs them. And if he's still there by himself at that time, when he's got that information, he's got to go. But at 10:21, he gets all this information. He's able to get inside the building. And at 10:24, Officer Rex Engelbert and Michael Colazzo put a stop to it. They hear the shots ringing out because what had happened was this female was in the second floor in a room shooting through a window that she had shot out, and were shooting at officers that were outside. They bust into the room, and then they end it. So, yeah, there were victims, but these guys that went in to do this they're heroes. There's no telling who else that could have gotten hurt, and they put a stop to it. So they were able to get this low-life piece of shit and take him out. I'm just going to call it how it is. That's how it is. And the victims that were involved, and this is the stuff, and I might get choked up. Just bear with me. But the victims in this, 3 of them were 9 years old. Haley Scruggs, Evelyn Dykehouse, and William Kinney were all shot. They didn't make it. There were 3 adults that were inside that were taken out too. One of them, her name was Catherine Kuntz. She was actually the head of the school or the dean of the school.
Didn't she rush?
She found this girl in the hallway and advanced towards her and was confronting her to try to stop her, and she got killed. There was a substitute teacher named Cynthia Peak. I can't really find a whole lot about her. All I know is that she was shot. I don't know if she was in a classroom protecting them, if she was just walking by and got hit. And then the one I started with, the Michael Hill, he was essentially ambushed because he was inside the school and the first shot was at him. And the damn shooter was outside, so he never knew it was coming, didn't know anything about it. And he was the janitor at the school that, from what I've read, thoroughly enjoyed his job. And, he sounds like one of those guys the kids even enjoyed seeing.
See, and I read something that one of those, it was a little girl. I don't remember which one, but I read that she ran to go pull the fire alarm.
See, I didn't read that.
And if you watch the video, you see the fire little flashers. I don't know what they're, the audible and visual alarm.
Yeah.
Those are actually flashing.
But anyway, and here's where we'll go in talking about, some of the, security things. And, well, let me back up. The last couple of weeks, a lot of the calls that we've been talking about have been dealing with people in need of mental health help. Mm-hmm. And this person that was a shooter was obviously a person in need of mental help. They needed some kind of help.
Right.
The parents of the shooter even said that she had no business owning firearms. Mm. Let me go to it. She was being treated for, what was it here? It was in some emotional disorder. And then that brings up, and you asked me this, what do you think of red flag laws? Mm. And I know a lot of people are against it. And even in Oklahoma, we have laws against having red flag laws. But in some cases, I can see where it would be great. And in some cases, it's like, no, this didn't need to happen.
Right.
This person here was, obviously this person was born a female and is now telling people that they're a male and they're identifying as a male. Well, that right there should be a red flag. Okay. This person obviously has needs some kind of help because they have no idea what they are. Mm-hmm. And our society, some of them are trying to normalize this.
We'll have more coming up on Code 0.5.
If you're looking for a political podcast that goes beyond the headlines, check out the Beltway Briefing. I'm Howard Schweitzer, CEO of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. Every week on the Beltway Briefing, our team of former Republican and Democratic presidential appointees, Capitol Hill veterans, and political advocates shares behind-the-scenes perspective that cuts through the noise. If you want the inside scoop, subscribe now to the Beltway Briefing here or wherever you get your podcasts.
So I think that goes a little bit more deeper than just wanting to claim to be the opposite. I feel like they would be confused as to who and what they are, which then leads into what am I supposed to be, which then goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's not just a matter of, this is what sex I want to be. Like you realize that could probably cause a lot more, deeper issue, them struggling with themselves and who they are.
Yeah.
If they don't.
And if they're not getting help, then, it's just going to make things worse. The longer it goes on, it's going to get worse. And I wish I could find it, and I haven't looked. One of you guys out there could probably look it up, but there was it was an Ivy League school. It was a professor that was like the dean of psychology. And it might have been, it might have been Harvard. I can't remember, but he was quoted as saying is that we need to stop celebrating this and calling people, suppose these quote unquote heroes for saying that they're identifying as something else. He said these people are in need of help. They need treatment. And, we need to stop normalizing this as a society, and we need to start helping these people. Because it's obvious they're going to have all these internal conflicts that are going to get worse and worse if they have no help.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know if it's just me, if I think this is weird or what, but this person was 28 years old and they still lived at home.
Wait.
Yeah, they were almost 30 and they still lived at home. To me, that's not. And I guess kids nowadays don't move out. They live with their parents longer and longer, but it's like and she had a college degree, but it was like in art or something. So, she was a female identifying as a male. What do you want to call that? Failure to launch, 28 and still living with your parents. And then she was being treated for emotional disorder, but she was able to purchase, it was like, I think she owned 7 firearms that she was able to hide inside the house. And whenever they found her, when they took her out, she had 3 of the 7 firearms on her. So after all this stuff has happened, she left behind, and they haven't released everything from it, I guess, left behind a manifesto. Mm-hmm. And it has led police to believe that the things she was talking about in it, that she had she had other targets in there. Some of them are family members, and one of them was a mall in her town that she was going to. So this was just a start of what she was planning on doing. But, thank God that, law enforcement was able to intervene and put a stop to it.
Right. You talk about like safety and whatnot at your schools and stuff. I actually had a deal I meant to talk to you about, because I told you that we had done the K9 here at the school. Mm-hmm. And we posted on there, that we did that with the help of the SO and whatnot. And somebody posted on it that forget, about narcotics or drugs or whatever, or weed, basically, but that what we needed to be focused on was mental health issues. And I agree 100%.
Yes, I agree. Parents should be involved with their children and know that they need mental health problems.
This one, I wish I could find the comment. I might go over there and look it up or try to find it. But it was basically saying that we needed to be focused on mental health issues, not that so much, but that we needed to. And I'm like, we can only do so much. Like, that's a big, like, even to get into that and try to explain that to that person would have been days worth of posting. But it's like, we do what we can. You know what I'm saying? We use the resources that we have that are available to us. But you know what I'm saying? Once we've done what we can do, it is completely out of our hands. That's in a whole separate, and the mental health system is broke.
Yeah. Well, and they say that we should, but we're not doctors.
No.
And when we deal with people that need help as far as mental health goes, we are there when it is a time of crisis. Mm-hmm. So it's too late.
Yeah.
Like, they should have already had treatment for months, maybe years. Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah, when we get called, it's not. And that's the thing, is we get a lot of calls about, somebody's not acting right. They're not violent. You know what I'm saying? They're not whatever, but they want us to come and take them. And it's like, I don't have a problem with that, because I know the person will get help. But I think a lot of people misunderstand, like, our presence in a mental health crisis is that person is in crisis. They're going to hurt themselves. They're going to hurt somebody else. It's going to be a very bad day for somebody if we don't intervene. Yeah. But like, you can, family members too, you have a little bit better rapport with this person, it may be easier for you to try to get them in. You know what I'm saying? I understand the behavior's scary, and you may not be used to that. It may not be something that they want, but the rapport may be able to help get them to a hospital or something like that, where our presence alone can escalate things. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, And
like, if you go into a school and you just see a kid and you just start talking to him, mm-hmm. if you don't know that kid very well, the way he's talking and acting and stuff, that could be normal, mm-hmm. but we won't know.
Right. No baseline.
Yeah, that's why the parents are going to be the first line of defense on that, or say line of defense, line of offense to helping them, getting them somewhere.
Yeah, because what's normal and what's not. Heck, we may run into these people, You know, I know in a big city, you know, unless it's a frequent flyer, you may run into a person like what?
Once or never.
Yeah. May never even see it.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
But, yeah, and getting the dog in the school, you know, those are good things.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go through and you run that dog through there and they don't find anything, it's still a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means there's nothing in their school.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, it sends a message.
Yep.
Oh, crap, we can't bring that stuff here.
Nope.
They'll find it. I mean, I remember when I was in school, I'd need to go to the restroom. I step out of the classroom to go to the restroom. And sometimes I would see a canine just going up and down the hallway checking lockers.
Mm-hmm.
It never bothered me because I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
And it's not like they're just going to go through and just search every locker there is and I'm sure you hear it and everybody knows it, that schools are scared to death to do anything to kids because they're afraid of lawsuits. And if they go by and just start searching a kid's locker, that's the first thing they're going to think of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, I mean, everything I've heard and dealt with is that if you go and you search that kid's locker in school grounds, you're not doing anything wrong. The staff can do that.
Mm-hmm.
A dog is not performing a search.
Mm-mm.
He's walking by and then he's, you know, hey, my
Exhibit.
dog just alerted that at some point there has been
Mm-hmm.
some illegal substance in or around this locker.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you hear that a lot, is that, and I support, you know, a parent coming to their kid's defense within reason. I mean, like with mine before, I've had the school call me and they say something, you know, about whatever one of our kids is doing. And I'll tell them, it's like, well, whatever punishment you deem as fit, then you do that. And I'm going to support you. If they're doing wrong, that's what needs to happen. But, anyway, I got to reading more and trying to figure out the mental health status of the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I guess shortly after that at the Capitol there was a protest, and it was a bunch of people that support transgenderism or whatever. And I couldn't believe this, but some of the people in the video were standing there holding up 7 fingers. And I'm like, what is that? What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to reading into it more, and I don't think anyone was quoted as saying this. The author of the article might have been making an assumption, but they were saying is that the protesters were saying that the shooter was also a victim. And, and I'm like, a victim of what? I mean, of not getting treatment? I mean, as far as that goes, the person that walked in with that rifle and chose violence that day, they got what they got. That's,
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing more to it. And then it's also scary because it's like, has our society gotten this bad that people are supporting others no matter whatever they do, no matter how horrendous it is, if it fits some kind of agenda that they have, or they're going to support them.
Yeah, it's not.
So I don't know, but yeah, and that's the other thing I think, and that's something else I'm going to get into later about the security of the schools and that kind of stuff. And there's ways that you can solve and help that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And people are just scared to death to do it. And
yeah.
I don't know, maybe one of these days we'll figure it out. But disciplining kids and talking with kids is not something that the school should be afraid of doing. I didn't realize how long I've been rambling.
No.
But
you're not wrong on that. See that a lot. I mean, there's always, something you can do to try to beef security up, and people they're worried about weapons in schools. But when the school board and districts and whatever move to put metal detectors, they have to pass through, you know what I'm saying, as you walk into the school. They didn't like that.
Mhm.
And we like that. That's too intrusive. That's too much. We don't need that because, we're sending them to school, not to prison. Well, I got that. But how else are you going to know? Like you got to have something there. You don't have x-ray vision. I mean, you're going to have to wand somebody or have the metal detector or something. You know what I'm saying? But like that, was it that really that, intrusive to put those at the front door so they go off so somebody has something on them that you're alerted, but they took them out. They've done away with it. So it's like, you can't have both things. You know what I mean? You can't.
Sure you can.
I
know what their thinking is. It's and I really don't give a crap what they think. Here's my thinking is that a lot of times when a kid goes to school, that is their safest place to be. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they get their only 1 or 2 meals a day at that place. Mm-hmm. And then they go and they see people in that school that they know care about them because they're trying to teach them and help them become, an educated person. Mm-hmm. That should be, what you would call a safe place for kids. Kids should never, ever have to worry about this kind of bullshit happening at school. And
you talk about that, not just that, but you've got severe bullying issues, you know what I'm saying, that are that's unchecked. 100%.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of schools have bullying policies, but they don't do anything with them.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you don't do something, it can make things look worse for the school than even if you did do something. Mm-hmm. But, in these episodes, we're not going to talk about, I'll let y'all know, or stupid criminal or any of my traffic stuff. We're going to talk about this because, and I don't know if all law enforcement guys were like this, but I was reading these articles and stuff today and I saw a picture of the kids that got out of the school and they were rushing them out of the school and they were putting them on buses and getting them out of there. Mm-hmm. And you see there's a picture going around of this little blonde-headed girl sitting on the bus and she's looking out the window and she's she's bawling. Mm-hmm. She's scared to death. She doesn't know what's going on. And not only when I see that, it pisses me off, but, I cried for the little kid. But anyway, we're gonna stop this one here because I'm fixing to get into something else that I'm hoping will light a fire underneath some of the people that are listening to this, and that will want to go out and help with legitimate change, with trying to make things better. But anyway, we're gonna call this one for now. We're going to make it a 2-part episode, and you guys come back on Thursday, and we're going to talk about some of the things we've thought of to make things safer or better for kids at school, and maybe we can get some of y'all's input as well. Mm-hmm. But anyway, come back Thursday, and we'll finish this one up.
Later.
You have been listening to Code 0.5, the lighter side of police work. If you have ideas or suggestions for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at code05.co. That's code05.co. And please consider making a donation at our Patreon page, patreon.com/code05. Be sure to use the digits 05. Thanks for listening to Code 0.5.